they don't want to be the bad one. They don't want to be, they, in general, Pisces are the sign where they like to kind of play victim, you know? So it's very rare you meet a Pisces that makes decisions, especially if it makes them look bad. They tend to be the victim. They tend to play, if it's always going wrong for them, and then it goes wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong. I don't want to be negative about them, but I've just Hi everyone, welcome back to No Lifetime. My name is Hallie, so grateful to have you all. Let's get into this reading. I'm doing a reading on Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson. I pulled up the chart. Before I pull up the chart, I have two quick announcements. I have 2 memberships available. One of them is You Learn Tarot with me, and I just introduced it live, monthly live. Check out the membership tab to learn more about both memberships. I will start doing lives again because I am launching my app and I should have more time very, very soon. So when I have more time, I will be doing lives again. I don't know if I'll be doing weekly. I don't know if I have enough time for that, but we'll see. Thank you for all of your patience, by the way. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into it. I'm not sick. I just have allergies from my AC. So I just want to let you know it was dirty and I had to clean it. Okay, so I'm going to use the Earth Woman Tarot. I'm really excited to be doing this reading. I decided this reading because they recently broke up, and I actually kind of was a little sad about it. As most of you know, I don't follow regular gossip, no shade to you if you do, but I'm into reality TV. That's what I love. So when I saw this, it popped up on my YouTube. I think it was one of Sloan's videos, and I haven't watched Sloan in a very long time. It popped up and it said Chris Martin and Dakota Johnson broke up. So I haven't read any articles. I don't know too much about it. I just know that she is also promoting a film that I actually really want to see, because I love movies like that with Chris Evans. I love silly rom-coms. I might wait for it to get on Netflix too. Well, who knows? I do really want to see it because I like to support people, actresses that I like. We basically grew up together. I think she's the same age as I am. I think she's 36 too. Her mother's Melanie Griffith. Her dad's Don Johnson. So if you know anything about Hollywood in the 80s and 90s, it's cool to see their child who's my age, in lots of movies and doing well for herself. Okay, so I'm going to start off. I pulled up past, present, future. Before I do, let me read their charts. Dakota, her sun is in Libra, moon is in Sagittarius, rising is in Capricorn. Her Venus is in Scorpio, which is very, very interesting. She actually does give me kind of Scorpionic energy, but I'll get into that. And Capricorn, I get lots of Capricorn energy. And with Chris Martin, his sun is in Pisces, moon in Leo, and Venus in Aries. Now, I'm going to start off by saying I'm not such a huge fan of Libras in general, because I find them to be very wishy-washy. Both signs, sun signs that they have, Libra and Pisces, can be very wishy-washy, not know where to go, and I think that kind of led to their breakup, because I think that they were at a standstill for a very long time. I don't think that they were ever that compatible. I think it was more like a friendship, and they became like roommates. That's the energy that I get when I read their cards. So, when I read their chart. So when I was shuffling the cards, when I was meditating, I got her this is a little sad. I mean, all breakups are sad, whether they end well. Sometimes when they end well, it's worse because you have to force yourself to leave, But I don't think that this ended well, honestly. I don't. In fact, I see the possibility of another woman being involved. Chris Martin, I've loved Coldplay growing up. My ex-boyfriend, what's that song again? That song reminds me of him because he used to play on repeat non-stop. Fix You. He used to play Fix You non-stop. So that song always reminds me of him. But no, I'm not angry about it. But, growing up in English culture, South African culture, Coldplay plays like everywhere. So, not so much in American culture, honestly, but in English culture, Commonwealth countries, you can't go anywhere without hearing Coldplay non-stop. So he's which is very Sun and Pisces, very creative, musical genius, Chris Martin is. But after I did the reading on him and Gwyneth Paltrow, it got me asking a lot of questions about his convictions. I feel like he just goes with the flow, which is very Sun and Pisces, you know, something that I'm not crazy about. I like people that are firm and know what they want, but it seems like he just goes kind of with the wind and doesn't really have intention. And I think he kind of babies his partners too much. So with past, I get the Hanged Man. And with the Hanged Man, I think that they were living together, and I think she told him to leave. I get that energy very strongly. I do see that there was suspicion, possible suspicion of another woman. Let's see. Okay, so she felt kind of drained by his energy. Knight of Wands, the Sun, and Page of Swords. I think he was talking to another woman. I don't think anything bad happened, but it kind of made her feel insecure. I say this all the time. I'm so sorry she went through that. But I say this all the time. Not all the time, but quite often. That Pisces, Sun and Pisces men will never just break up with you. They will disappear. They'll start talking to other women. They'll become such a miserable boyfriend or husband that you are the one that will have to do the acts. Look back at any Pisces, Sun and Pisces men that you know or that are famous, and you'll see they have a pattern of doing that. They won't come out because they don't want to be the bad one. They don't want to be, in general, Pisces are the sign where they like to kind of play victim, you know. So it's very rare you meet a Pisces that makes decisions, especially if it makes them look bad. They tend to be the victim. They tend to play, you know, if it's always going wrong for them, and then it goes wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong and wrong. I don't want to be negative about them, but I've just seen that they like to play the victim. And he was playing the victim. She confronted him about it. I see her confronting him about it. And he's like, no, she was talking to me. What would I say? It might be somebody that he does music with. I see like a younger blonde. She looks very young. Actually, she looks like she's in her early 20s. Like 24, 25. And she was really, really upset about it. Really upset. I don't think anything happened. But the fact that he wasn't open, and Pisces are known for secrets. Pisces and Scorpios are known for secrets, especially with her Venus being in Scorpio and his Venus being in Aries. I get the sense, likes to hold secrets and thinks in his mind, which is also a very male-female thing that we have. You know, we say men don't communicate enough, which happens quite often. But he has secrets that he feels like it's harmless if I don't tell her, and she wants to know everything, especially with her Venus and Scorpio. She wants to know everything, and being a Libra, she wants to communicate it, and he doesn't want to. He thinks it's pointless that she knows everything, and that makes her feel like he is excluding her, or it made her feel like she was excluded. So with Five of Cups, I see here there's a lot of, I think they're still separating some assets. They weren't married, I know that, but they were probably in common law. They're together for a while, very long time, and them separating everything, so sad. She's taking it on a lot. She's really, really upset about how everything ended, and she wants him to change. But this is something I had to learn. I learned it in my last relationship, that just because the person is not a bad person, you know, and I saw that also when I would tell my friends about my ex. I would say, you know, he did this, he did that, and they would say, okay, well, give him a chance, which I ended up doing, and that's why we stayed together for as long as we did. But we always know, you know, and I'm not saying anything bad has to happen for you to realize you're not with the right person. We know, you know, And if somebody isn't standing up for you, they're not taking initiative, they don't have conviction. If you're used to being, especially with Capricorn in her chart, she needs somebody that is firm. She needs somebody that keeps her in the loop about things. And a lot of the time people won't understand that, because they'll say, well, you have it good, you know. But good sometimes is not happy. Yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense, but good can be just a plateau. Good can be just surviving, you know, which good is good. But if you're missing something to fulfill something that makes you feel happy, fulfilled, then that's a problem, you know. So I think a lot of people don't understand her. They don't understand where she's coming from. They're making her seem like she's being crazy about it. But I support her decision. I really do. And I encourage her, you know. The person, like I've said, the person does not have to be bad for you to not want to be with them. And some people don't understand that. They think that maybe you have too high of a standard, that you should settle. And it's not bad advice, but only you have to live with the consequences of your actions, you know? If you feel like you're in a relationship but you feel alone, you can't put your finger on it, that's still a feeling. It's still valid. It deserves to be noted. And I think she feels like people around her, similar, we weren't together for a long time, but similarly to the situation I went through, people around her really like him. And it kind of plays tricks on you when people like your ex a lot, because you're like, am I going crazy? But the person doesn't have to be bad for you to break up with them. It doesn't have to be horrific, you know. I think we live in drastic black and white, but it could just be incompatibility and you're not getting what you need from a relationship, and it's okay. It's okay. Better now than later, you know. So the Emperor, Ace of Swords, and the Strength card. So I think he wants her back. He wants to come forward and tell her, I messed up. I should have been more in your life. He's kind of just gonna tell her that it's how he is. It's just how he is. I think this might have partially. I need to go back and watch my famous exes. I did one on Gwen. What's her name? What's her name again? Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh my gosh, Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin. I did one on them before, and I think their breakup was similar to this. That they feel like he doesn't stand up for them enough. He's a nice guy, he's nice to everybody, gets along with everybody. When it comes to being a present partner and stepping up to the plate, he doesn't do enough. But the woman stays because they see him with everybody else. And, you know, especially when you're used to dating men that are jealous, rude, narcissist, when a decent man comes along, you try to preserve it as much as possible. Until you're on your last, you're hanging by a thread, you know, you can't do it anymore. So with 10 of Cups being the future, I see happiness, lots of happiness. I don't think happiness together, I think happiness apart. In fact, I see him with somebody else, getting married in the next 2-3 years. She's exotic. I see her being like Latin-esque. And let's see for her. 6 of Wands, Justice, and a Chariot. So I see them having... She might sue him for some kind of like royalties or something. They might have started a company together. And I see her suing him for something. So 6 of Wands, Justice, and the World. I see her... And everybody's going to find out about this lawsuit. Because then things are going to get nasty. And with the Hermit, 5 of Wands, and 4 of Swords being her future, she's going to heal. I wish her so well. especially it's not easy to leave a relationship in your 30s. It's really, really not, because people get in your head about, you don't want kids? Oh my gosh, you want kids still? Just stay, make the best of it. But then the child is born and then you leave. So I really feel, especially with technology, I say this all the time, woman, make sure both parties, I'm just speaking from a woman's perspective, we need to make sure we are in a healthy situation before we have children. Especially now with technology, we are so fortunate, and you don't even, well, from my perspective, I don't even necessarily want to have biological children. They don't have to be biological, but I've made this promise to myself that no matter what, my children will feel loved by both parents. I will not end up in a situation where I'm alone. So the rushing thing needs to stop. We need to stop rushing people into marriage, into this, into that. And I only say that because we're around the same age, and I hear it quite often. You don't want kids? You don't want kids? You don't want kids? I do, but it's not. I want my kids to be healthy. I want to be a healthy parent. I want to have enough money, and I want them to feel welcomed into life. And I encourage people around her to stop pushing this narrative, because I see she's getting a lot of pressure, and it makes her want to, the hermit, kind of recluse, not speak to people, be alone, and maybe she needs to find the right group of friends. But I would encourage people around her and to her directly, you don't have to fall into society. You see all the time. I have friends that had kids, their first child at 40, or they adopted, or they have surrogates. It's not, as long as the child is brought into a healthy, loving situation where they feel financially stable, there's no need to make it seem like there's a timeline, and there's an infinite, because then women end up in bad situations. And I'm happy for her that she's, I wouldn't say free, but she took the courage to leave, especially in her 30s. It doesn't, when women are in our 30s, we get that pressure. 30s and early 40s, pressure. But whatever's meant for you will find you, as long as you work hard, live a good life, live clean, stay healthy, you're present, you're spiritual, you align yourself with positive things. Whatever's meant for you will find you. And I totally believe that for her, and I wish her all the best. Same thing with him, I wish him the best. I think women in our 30s, we need to hear that more, and 40s, we need to hear that more. And in our 20s, we need to hear too, don't rush and end up in a situation where you'll regret it and you have a child. If you have, I'm not judging you, I'm just speaking to those that are in this situation. So that's what I have for you guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.